Welcome back to Chuck's Laboratory, and today we are doing some more Giving Stock Craft Some Love. We are flying 3 stock craft on 2 launches on 1 Mun landing. Yeah, we're going to be flying this rocket here, the Ariane 5. We're going to be carrying the 2-stage lander, another stock craft, as our lander, and we'll be using the Orbiter 1A as our command module. Let's have a look what the Ariane 5 says in the wiki. The Ariane 5 is ESA's premier heavy-lift rocket capable of putting large payloads into low or geostationary orbits. This version carries a boilerplate payload. Feel free to substitute your own. And also says there at the bottom, trivia, the ESA flags mounted on the fairing do not disappear when the fairing is deployed, indicating that they are flag parts. And that means that this is the first time that I learned that you could apply flag parts to fairings. I did not know that you could put flags on fairings. That was my new free thing of the day to learn, so I felt pretty cool about that. But I promptly took them off again because, as it states there, the flags do not disappear, which is a little odd. So this is what the Ariane 5 looks like as stock. Let's go have a look at the rest of our mission here. This is the Orbiter 1A, and from the wiki it states that the Orbiter 1A is a training craft for orbital maneuvering. Despite not being able to reach orbit on its own, it's a very maneuverable and fun to fly ship once you get there. Well, let's check that out. Well, hopefully it is a fun to fly ship once it gets there, but we'll have to get it there first. We're also going to have to make a couple of small adjustments. We're going to have to take off this parachute, and we're going to have to attach a docking port. And also, because we took off the parachute, we're going to have to add a couple of parachutes. So we'll just I think 2 is going to be enough. I like to put the parachutes in a little bit, just slightly clip them in a bit so they're not sticking out and not too odd looking, but still visible enough that I can, adjust the thing. So let's adjust it to, say, 0.23. Get there eventually. Come on, 0.23. And we'll set this at like 700 and up that to like 8. Alright, so that's what our Orbiter 1A is going to look like. Let's go have a look at that 2-stage lander. Okay, there's the 2-stage lander, and according to the wiki, be the first to put a flag on your favorite moon with this very sensible and mostly survivable lander module. The first stage is meant to get it down to the surface and can be jettisoned off for the ascent. Launch return vehicle sold separately. Works best at low gravity with no atmosphere around it. That works for us because we're heading to the Mun and there's no atmosphere there, and gravity is sort of low, but I think we'll be just fine. So actually, let's just have a look and see what it would say here. So let's set Kerbin Mun. Gives us 1460 meters per second on the descent stage and 949 on the ascent stage. That's an interesting balance. Still gives us enough to get there and a good margin for fooling around on the landing. A 12.92 thrust to weight ratio on the descent stage. That's interesting. We'll have to really watch that we don't over throttle there. And I notice here that it doesn't even use the main engine here, or the central engine, I should say, at all during the descent. So it's 4 Terriers on the way down, and then what is this? Stages away the side engines, and then lights some Separatrons. It's interesting. Okay, well, we're not going to modify the staging because, that's the whole part of doing stock craft review. We are going to have to fold up the landing gear. We are going to have to retract the lander. It already has a docking port, so that's handy. We're just going to have to make sure that we don't deploy the antenna here. That'd be awkward. I think it might prevent docking if we did. Alright, let's go have a look at the Ariane 5 with the payloads attached. Okay, there we have the Ariane 5 with the 2-stage lander, and it doesn't look quite as sleek as it did with the smaller fairing on it. However, it does manage to fit. We've also put on this small girder adapter to lift the payload up so that the center of mass is a little bit higher up. Otherwise, it was a little bit tippy. Other than that, we've made no other changes at all. And here's our Ariane 5 with the Orbiter 1A attached, and you can see we have brought over the docking port version with the parachutes. And we again added the modular adapter here to bring that center of mass up a little bit higher. Otherwise, that was a little bit tippy with both of these. Probably also because the payload is a little bit wider, which does increase the drag. Other than that, we've made no changes to this whatsoever. Let's go ahead and roll the, actually, we're going to do the lander first. Let's roll the lander out onto the pad first. Okay, well, first out onto the pad here is the two-stage lander. And as you can see, it's got arranged so that the two SRBs are pointed east and west and not north and south. So we're going to do a roll before we begin our pitch. And we're going to get going here pretty quick because we have weather to the north, south, east, and west. We've got a nice little pocket of partially cloudy. The engines and the SRBs all light at the same time as dropping the launch clamp. So we'll go to full throttle here. Okay, well, not a super efficient launch, but I think we're going to be all right. This is at 134.9 kilometer apoapsis, and I like to do orbital assembly, usually between like 130 and 140 kilometers. I find that anything lower than that, the maneuver nodes become a little bit too tricky to get correct, and anything over that, you're already kind of halfway somewhere else already. So I like 130 to 140 kilometers. We'll see how that works here for this mission. Okay, well, we did a fairly decent burn there to get into orbit. We did have to pitch up a little bit to compensate for the lower thrust weight ratio on this second stage. Should have counted for that, as going from a mainsail to a poodle is quite a jump. And we've got enough power on this one here being generated by the RTGs. I think we're good to go ahead and get our crew up here.
So we are 1 minute before the launch.
Top, moins 1 minute.
Switching to onboard power.
Okay, we are out here on the launch pad with Jeb, Bob, and Armin Kerman. We had to hire Armin Kerman as a pilot because, if you may recall from our last video, Valentina kind of re-entered and is stuck out in the middle of, I think, the Badlands on the opposite side of the planet. We've hired a Steerwing A300 to go out there and pick it up, but it's a military transport. You know how those things go. It might take him a while to get out there. But for now, let's go ahead and get these guys rendezvoused with our two-stage lander.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top.
Well, again, not a very efficient ascent, but I think it'll get us there. We do have the descending node right at our apoapsis. The orbiter one is a little heavier than the two-stage lander, so we're going to be using the second stage on the Ariane 5 to rendezvous with the two-stage lander. Then we're going to drop it. We have the two-stage lander still attached to each second Ariane stage, and we're going to use that as a bit of a kicker to get us out to the Mun. Okay, there we are. And am I the only one who always forgets to tap this button? I really want it to be in free mode when we get up, but as we approach orbital velocity, the camera always rotates and it's so disorienting. I wind up overcooking the burn as we have done. That's okay. I think it'll be pretty easy to come up with an encounter here. Okay, we have active terriers, and it's a little odd looking, but I noticed that it does have the capsule RCS turned on. So I don't know, maybe it'll fly okay. Let's see. They say it was fun to fly. Well, it seems to be pretty balanced. We'll be within under 100 meters in under around 10 minutes here. Is that Sally Head out there? Oh, yeah, we don't need that. Let's go back and target the Craig vehicle here. Uh-oh. It's one of these two. It's got to be this one then. I'm not sure what is up with the different levels of fuel here. That's weird. Well, that was very odd. I'm not sure what was going on with the different fuel levels here. I'm calling it an anomaly. Once we get docked, we're going to do a quick save and quick load. We let the magnets do their thing. We still have the poodle on the second stage of the Ariane active. We need to turn these terriers off. Now we need to control from here. And we have what looks like around 444 meters per second, so roughly half of a burn to the Mun. That's not bad. Okay, we have sort of a burn here. We have enough to get us halfway there. Then we're going to do one more orbit, and then we're going to light the engines on the Orbiter 1A again to push us the rest of the way. Well, we're going to do a quick save and quick load, but we don't really have time. Okay, let's drop that second stage of the Ariane. And once again, control from here. Let's relight these Terriers. And let's see what we have for Delta V here. This is actually completely untested, so I have not come this far before. 11. What in the world is this? Why is there one of these engines showing it? Is there a different? I don't understand what's going on here. Why are... Oh yeah, quick save and quick load. Let's see what happens. Quick save, quick load. Okay, there we are. So the fuel levels appear to be nominal again. Are we still controlling from here? I believe we are. Yes. Okay. I believe it was 1 to activate the antenna here, but I don't know what control groups are on the two-stage lander. Probably should have turned that antenna on before we docked. What do we have? Actually, antenna's on 2. Okay. There's the fuel cell. Actually, it doesn't look like the two-stage lander has any control actions on it. So 2 to extend the antenna. Let's set up the second half of our burn to get out to the Mun. Only 395 meters per second. That should be pretty good. We have a 0.67 thrust to weight ratio here. Not too much out of these Terriers, but they do have good ISP. Okay, perfect. We have a 30-kilometer apoapsis around the Mun. I don't know if you noticed there, but Jeb and Bob were definitely down for it. But Armin in the middle here was decidedly concerned. They seem to be okay now, though. Let's come around to the daylight side here and check out the free IVA and see what the inside of this thing looks like. So getting some major lead flares out there. Definitely a fan of Abrams, apparently. And yeah, the docking port looks a little different. I'm not sure if there's a part in there that's in between them. But it's letting me get in there. All right, Armin, get back into your Orbiter 1A. You're not going down to the Mun. Oh, these guys are. I'm starting to think that we didn't even need to use the second stage on the Ariane to give us our first kick out to the Mun. See here, we used 400 and I think 414 meters per second at Delta V. It was on that kicker stage, a second stage on the Ariane 5. We have 715 left. Of course, we have to leave. That's 715 meters per second left, carrying this two-stage lander. Let's see how much we have left by the time we're done with our exit burn back home again. But we have to get into orbit first here. Okay, there we go. We've got a pretty good orbit there. 28 by 37. It's not particularly round, but it's good enough for now. It's too bad the close side is dark. There's good landing spots there. What else can we find? Okay, let's get the landing team down to the lander. Okay, Armin, kind of keep an eye on things up here. We're going to go down to the Mun and hopefully come back. Or is there no RCS? There's some monoprop, but I don't see any thrusters on here. That's going to make it awkward for docking, but that's fine. We'll just let Armin do all the docking. We'll try to get close enough with these guys here. So we have to first light these 4 Terriers here. Okay, those have lit. Let's set up some sort of a descent burn here. Okay, that should do it, around 5 minutes. This is interesting. Well, let's extend this antenna here. Don't really need it, but it's fun to have. Okay, we are down with a two-stage lander. Not too bad. This thing has all kinds of power, even with just 4 carriers, but they are maxed out. Well, we have 493 meters per second of delta V left at a descent stage, 949 on the ascent stage. And I notice here that when we fire this stage here, it's going to stage away the side boosters, but also it's going to light these separatrons. I'm pretty curious to see what that's going to look like. And this does have a ladder. Let's go ahead and use it. Okay, we've got a mission flag set up there. We definitely came pretty close to that rock. Wow, that was very close. Let's grab your pocket of dirt. Surface sample from the Mun's lowlands. The surface appears to be a fine dust with a grayish tone. Seems too flaky to make snowballs with. This sounds very familiar. What does your EVA report have to say? You look at search the sky for turbines, suddenly you feel very small. Well, you are very small. But that's just what makes you cute. Very nice. Retract ladder. Okay. Let's just go ahead and collapse this antenna. It was fun while it was up, but if I don't collapse it now, I'm going to forget by the time we dock, and then, well, things won't go right. Where is our Orbiter 1A? There you are. So we don't need to run throttle here. We just need to stage and hope for the best. And I'm going to set the SAS to radial out. That's going to make sure that we do a nice clean vertical ascent. Looks like for good luck. Let's see what this takeoff looks like. That got us out of there in a hurry. Okay, there we go. That's better. So a little nervous. Here we go. Hey, we are on our way up using the ascent stage of the two-stage lander. It looks pretty odd with those RTGs sticking there. I'm not sure what the logic is behind using those separatrons to get us off the surface. Well, it worked anyway. It's like 252 meters per second will get us into a pretty good encounter with Irwin? Oh boy, don't even remember the name of the pilot we just hired. Oh well, we're just gonna call him Goebbels. Coming up to you, Goebbels. Okay, how do things look? 2.1 kilometers. Bring that down half a kilometer. There we go. Definitely relying on the definitely going to rely on the Orbiter 1A to do the heavy lifting there and the docking. We're going to have a difference of speed of 58.7 meters per second, which shouldn't be too bad. All right, Kerbals, Kerman, we did the hard part. We got you within 396 meters of a rendezvous point. It's up to you to do the docking now. Okay, it wasn't Goebbels Kerman, it's Harmon Kerman. Good enough. There's the two-stage lander ascent stage. There's a crazy look to it. I'm kind of digging it, actually. I like the way that there's a nice little gap here on the body. Gives it like that classic cartoon rocket style look. And the RCS at the very back, and then coupled with the RCS on the command pod, is actually kind of working for us. How's the monoprop supply looking? Oh, tons. Oh my goodness, this thing's loaded with monoprop. Now we can see, though, 810 meters per second. We're absolutely going to have enough Delta V to get home. However, if we had not burned the second stage of the Ariane, we would not, I don't think. Well, actually, here it was 414, 810, so we'd be, yeah, we would have made it. It would have been close, but 50, 60 meters per second of Delta V budget. I think it was safer just to burn the second stage of the Ariane. Locked view for the docking. I always prefer to use locked view for docking. Makes me feel like I'm driving it. Ooh, coming in a little too fast there. Save, Chuck. It's close. I got kind of hypnotized by the look of this crazy thing. This thing is really easy to fly. Look at that. That was amazing. Okay, let's get the crew back. Uh-oh, where is the crew? Oh, there they are. That was spooky. Well, we were going very long, Armin, but nice to see you again. Okay, let's undock the ascent stage. And do we have a probe core so we can deorbit? No, we do not. That's kind of a bummer. Don't want to have this thing floating around in space all this time. Jeb to the rescue. Right, Jeb, we're going to get you to do a quick deorbit burn and then get yourself out of there. Don't stay longer than you have to. Okay, you better go back. And we managed to deorbit the ascent stage, so we're not leaving any space junk floating around. Of course, we still have that Sally Hunt 1 orbiting Kerbin. Oh, that's not space junk. It was cool. You guys look pretty comfortable there. Sorry, 3's a crowd. And let's get ourselves back home. We've got lots of Delta V, 801 meters per second. Let's actually make this a fairly high re-entry so that we spend lots of time in the atmosphere and perhaps come down on the daylight side. I think 52 should do it. there we go. We are definitely on the way home. These look just about right. Let's tweak that down a little bit, say 52 kilometers. And let's get home. Okay, we are getting close to that atmosphere. Let's turn around a bit here and drop that, I guess drop the service module. Looks like it's going to fire the parachutes at the same time. And there we go. We don't have a heat shield. Oh, okay. Did this thing come out for re-entry heating? Is the Orbiter 1A craft really that old of a design, and did I ever regret not having a closer look there? I'm not sure this is gonna work. Oh, but we set that higher altitude too. Oh, that could go against us actually. Okay, well, this could be a bad ending. Let's see what happens. There's a hatch at the bottom? I didn't know there was a hatch at the bottom. Can you see it? So where's the... right there. No, you can't. We're starting to pick up some G-forces here. We should be able to stand up in the back here pretty soon. Yeah, you take your seat. Let's have a look, see how things look. Oh, that's crazy. I don't know what's happening there. Strobe alert. Oh, interesting. I don't think it really knows what to do there since it doesn't have a heat shield. Okay, well, we're not overheating yet. We're climbing again now. I think it's going to take us a couple of passes to get through, actually. I didn't think... I thought 52 would get us low enough that we'd return one pass. I guess not. Hopefully, should have used all that extra fuel and the Orbiter 1A to slow down propulsively. Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Persist on rotation, making sure the crew is nicely shaken. Should have used the RCS to adjust that periapsis. If we don't come down this time, we'll do that. Okay, so the command pod has RCS on it, and we just need to aim something like that, RCS, and thrust sideways. Should do it. Drop that periapsis down to around 40 kilometers. Should definitely do it. I really should have checked for a heat shield. Oh well. Hope for the best. Definitely intense. Pop's having a good time. How's Armin doing? Armin's having a good time too, just happy to go home, I'm sure. Well, no overheating yet. But G-forces are still climbing. Wow. It was a lot of fire and smoke, but no kabooms. That's most excellent. Well, except for the sonic boom, of course. And because we've set the pressure here to 0.23. Yep, it took a little while for those chutes to come out, but that's all part of the plan. And they're not going to fully deploy until 750 meters. And slow down just in time. Once again, we managed to avoid the trees. It's not bad. Okay, well, we are down safe and sound. That was an amazing mission. We did a 2 launches using 3 different stock craft. Tested out the Ariane 5 launcher and the Orbiter A1 and the 2-stage lander. Everything came together fairly nicely, even though they were pretty unconventional looking craft, I gotta say. Well, let's go ahead and recover these guys and do some quick reviews. Okay, let's have a look and see how these 3 stock craft fared against our rating system. First up is the Ariane 5. We're going to score this one 3 jebs. It's a relatively capable lifter with a payload capacity of around 16 tons if you're flying into LKO. It's a little tricky to fly unless the center of mass is moved higher when dealing with larger high-drag fairings, but it's quite controllable once in the thinner atmosphere and in vacuum. Generally a capable lifter, but nothing super exciting. For design, we're scoring 3 bills. This is a good choice of the mainsail and 2 kickback SRBs on the first stage would give a strong thrust-to-weight ratio off the pad, and the upper stage includes not only the 10.5-ton boilerplate payload, but also a probe core, making it the beginning of a decent interplanetary stage. An extra bill would have been awarded for either a taller first stage, as a thrust-to-weight ratio could definitely handle it, or if more parts are on the second stage, such as RCS, power generation, or an antenna. Science, we're scoring 3 bobs. It's a rocket, so no real science value, but the payload capacity is decent, and the second stage Poodle's ISP would help carry even a modest payload just about anywhere. For aesthetic, we're scoring 5 vowels, not only because it's a good-looking, sleek rocket with ESA's custom fairing flags, but also because of the effortless collaboration between ESA meant for KSP and the space sim gaming community in general. The fairing looks great, and the ESA flags on it are a really nice touch. In summary, not sure I'd go to the trouble of digging into the stock craft library just to get this as a lifter, because it's really just a mainsail, 2 SRBs, and a Poodle. However, it's pretty cool that ASA partnered with KSP to bring one of their real-life rockets into the game. The Shared Horizons update, where this came from, includes parts for the Bepi Colombo and Rosetta missions, so if someone wanted to do one of those recreations where the Ariane 5 was used, or even the James Webb Space Telescope, for example, this would add a nice touch of realism. Next up is the 2-stage lander, and we're going to score 3 jebs for flight. It has awesome thrust-to-weight ratio on the descent stage, making this capable of landing and returning from almost any solid body in the game. Good control through both stages, but a lack of RCS means limited fine maneuvering ability and would rely on the capability of the craft it's docking with for close-quarter maneuvering. Odd staging with the Sepratron give me that puzzled look. Not ideal for flying. Design, we're scoring 3 bills. It's ready to go out of the box. This is an easy-to-fly lander that demonstrates the principle of a 2-stage lander. Taking off 1 bill for not having action groups on the antenna or to shut down the descent stage engines, and another bill for, as mentioned above, the Sepratrons. Why? The retractable antenna is in an unusual spot and tempts breakage if it's not retracted before docking, but it's not in an action group, so at least it won't get deployed by accident. For science, we're going to score 3 bobs. There's room for a pilot and a scientist, and this is a good choice for settling down and doing surface science almost anywhere. Having science parts on board would have scored this one higher, and limited space for science parts on the ascent stage. For aesthetic, we're going to score 3 vowels. It's a pretty typical design except for those separatrons, so not too much to look at. Not ugly, just sort of there. Kind of like my first car. In summary, it is a good design to study the benefits of a two-stage lander, but the potential for havoc when lighting the separatrons, literally on that second stage, isn't worth the risk. The spent tanks and landing legs flip dangerously out of control before exploding when firing the descent stage, making for quite a show. Actually, that chaos probably explains the separatrons. Next up, we have the highlight of the mission, and we're going to score this one 5 jebs. It is highly controllable with both reaction wheels and the balanced RCF thrusters, and made it incredibly easy to dock with our lander. It has a good balance of ISP and thrust-weight ratio, with 2.2 kilometers of delta V when in vacuum give the Orbiter 1A great versatility in destinations too. And just like it says in the tin, it was fun to fly. For design, we're going to score 4 bells. The unorthodox placing of the aft RCS thrusters worked very well with the command pod's thruster controls to create a well-balanced and very easy to fly, yes fun, spacecraft. Docking was a breeze, and I even did a docking test without any SAS, and it was a dream. Multiple methods of power generation, an antenna, and loads of monoprop make this a spacecraft for almost any mission. Only taking 1 bell off because in the default design doesn't really have a practical application. There's no docking port, but it's highly maneuverable, so ideal for docking. Has great delta V and super stable platform with a tripod design, but no landing legs. It's cool, but it doesn't really know what it is. For science, we're going to go 4 bobs. Kind of going all out here and granting 4 bobs for science, even though it doesn't have any science parts. With the antenna, multiple power generation methods, and lots of delta V, this could be used to cruise the solar system just capturing AVA reports. It would be nice to stash some science parts into the structural parts that form the tripod and make this into a real space science vessel. For aesthetic, we're going to go all in and go 5 vowels. This thing looks awesome and more Kerbally than even the classic and familiar Kerbal X. I love the tripod design and the use of delta wings as structural parts. It has that classic vintage rocket look, especially with the default top-mounted parachute. All you have to do is get into space and it'll look great when it gets there. In summary, the use of wings as structural parts, the always stable tripod design, and the well-balanced RCS thrusters make this quite delightful to fly. The triple RCS thrusters mounted on the far aft of the craft are appropriately lower balance thrust settings to help balance the command pod and make this very flyable. Dockable with ease and even without SAS. Other than the lack of a docking port to enhance the versatility, there are aspects of this design I could see myself employing in future landers. Well, thanks a lot for joining as we reviewed 3 stock KSP craft on 2 launches and 1 moon landing. I hope you'll come back next time where you have something pretty special planned for next stock craft review, so hope to see you there.